What is up, everybody? It's your boy Doody back again with another commentary style video. Now, I know it's been a little bit of time, but getting back in the swing of things. Also, just to remind everyone today, I will be doing a meaningful podcast today at 9:30. So if you got nothing better to do, or if you're ducking from your boss and don't want to do any work but look busy, come hang out on the meaningful podcast. It should be a lot of fun. All right, enough of the plug. Let's get into the video. That's right, DSP yesterday had a massive crash out. That's right, not one crash out, not two crash outs, but three total crash outs. Good lord, to the point that it drove him to drop a fake anonymous tip with some message about fake tipping or whatever, which is insane. Anyway, let's hear Phil continue the rant, and that's what he does here. And we'll get into it because I have a lot to say, because I posted the 3 videos, and while I watched that yesterday, I just kept saying to myself, my God, this guy, he really thinks he's untouchable. And he keeps pushing it and pushing it and pushing it to the point where he's gonna get butt broken for breaking terms of service. I'm telling you right now, Phil, if you don't believe it, go ahead and keep doing what you keep doing. All right, let's see what Phil had to say on the Daily Wrap. And again, like always, I will try to do my best to keep it under 15 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. DSP here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Sunday, the 16th of August, 2026. A great return day, the first of a 6-day streak of streams for me here on the channel. Good variety of content today, good support, great unpackings of cards, great gameplay all around, an overall great day. Let's talk all about it. Today, I came back to a fun DSP, a fun Level 1 podcast where we recapped the insane day and night that we had on Friday. Notably, the fact that there was so much support that we went through almost the entirety of the Dragon Ball box of cards in one day and got incredibly awesome hits, more better than any other box I've ever opened before.
I'm not the grammar police, because you guys know I speak 3 languages and can barely speak any of them, right? But come on, Phil, get that sentence structure, brother. You make me sound like a poet laureate with the speech there. So clean that up a little bit.
Actually the best pack rips I'd ever done, value-wise and fun-wise, quite frankly, because the cards were also very awesome. Also, we talked about the insanely awesome stream of Dark Souls 2, where people supported to the point where we were going to continue on and start up a Dark Souls 2 DLC later in the week. But we also talked about how insanely dumb my detractors are, that they're so stupid that they didn't understand the sarcasm and joking in my post about that, thinking that actually I wasn't going to continue Dark Souls 2 because they're too dumb to have any level of reading comprehension. So we made fun of them for a good half hour on the podcast, and it was a ton of fun. Also, we just hung out. We talked about the future.
I want to stop here. All right, so Phil, your definition of fun is much more different than my definition of fun, especially when it comes to streaming on a platform like YouTube, who have for the last 2 years have been tightening their grip on their terms of service and making sure people like you don't abuse it. And what you did yesterday with those 3 segments, just crashing out on your viewers, on your supporters, crashing out on detractors, whatever, broke terms of service multiple times. It really did. I mean, there's one thing. All right, so normally when I do videos about you, Phil, I make fun of you. I do. I make fun of what you're doing. I really try not to make too much fun of you, because again, making fun of a person for their attributes and stuff like that is against terms of service. First of all, let me put that out there. So if I went on in this video and just called you, a fat dummy, regard, nonstop, like you did yesterday, that is against terms of service. That is considered cyberbullying and targeted harassment. And you can get a community guideline strike for that, Phil. If you don't believe me, pull up your terms of service on YouTube and you will see it right there. It's clearly spelled out that continuously targeting someone for attributes is considered cyberbullying, okay? So if you notice, when I do a lot of videos, I try to make fun of Phil, but I kind of do it a little underhanded at times, because again, yes, I don't want to get snagged with a community guideline strike, but Phil doesn't know the difference. Let me address the issue where he talks about people's intelligence. Phil, you are the one that's not so bright, honestly. If you really believe and think that the people that posted in your post on your YouTube page really didn't understand what you were saying, Okay, that speaks more to your intelligence. Now he'll sit there and say, "Oh, these people don't understand sarcasm." You don't understand sarcasm. Everyone that read your post knew exactly what you meant. But it doesn't matter because people are going to contradict anything you say. They're going to mock you. Why? Because they know you are going to crash out. They know you are going to spend an hour and a half of your 2.5 hour podcast crashing out. And that's exactly what people want. And you give it to them every single time. So again, Phil, who's the non-intelligent person here? You or them? Obi-Wan had a great comment. You know, who's the fool? The fool or the fool who follows him? Okay? And Phil, you are the fool who was following. Honestly. Because in your 18-year streaming career, you still don't understand that people are trying to bait you. And it doesn't matter what you say or do. People are going to be contrarians and say the opposite. Just because they know you, Phil, you of all people, will bite. Will take that bite and run with it. You know what I mean? And again, instead of just doing it jokingly or half-heartedly, no. You spend an hour and a half just utterly crashing out, cursing at people, telling people to get bent, telling people, you know, the whole Thanos thing where if you were finger snap, which finger snap, again, is another nice little word for saying if you Minecraft yourself, okay? So he's wishing death upon people, which is totally against terms of service, Phil. But you continue thinking that you're untouchable, Phil. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Because one of these days, just like when you thought you were untouchable on Twitch, one of these days you're going to be streaming, or you're going to lose your memberships, you're going to lose all your emotes, and you're going to be like, oh, what's going on? And then you're going to get an email, and you're going to say, oh, something bad just happened. But, okay, you keep doing you, boo, okay? You keep being the person, you keep being the turd Ferguson that you always are, because you can't help yourself. Again, that is who Phil is at his core. I don't care. I've been saying for years. How long have I been streaming, making content on DSP? About 6 years. For 6 years, I've been telling everyone that the last decade has been one big retcon to make people believe that DSP is not who he is. And everything detractors say and people say about him are exactly to the point who he is. He might try to mask it, but again, with a mask always comes off, and you're always going to show your color. You can't change a leopard's spots, Phil. And the spots on you, brother, will never change. I don't give a shit how much of a paint job you try to throw on it. We can see right through you, because ultimately you always turn into that scumbag. Like, you revert to your natural state, which is just being a terrible human. Okay? Really, Phil. And you know, I would respect it more if you just owned it and just were that despicable person, because I can at least say, well, he owns it, he knows who he is, and he doesn't care. But I can't even do that because you refuse to do it. Because, of course, today you'll try to come back and act like, oh, you were just joking, that you didn't mean any of it. And I bet you any amount of money, that content that he put out there, I bet you he edited it. I bet you he didn't put that segment into his Level 1 podcast video, even if he even put that video up. I haven't checked yet. But I'm sure that whole segment was edited by him. And he's been doing that more often because he knows that he's against YouTube's terms of service. Now, the lovely thing is that he doesn't delete his videos, his stream videos. What he does is he privates them. So they're still available. So if someone actually had the link to his stream, even if it's privated, you could still report it. You can still report it for breaking terms of service. And YouTube will go and look at it. Just because it privates doesn't mean nothing. If you put it on the platform and they review it and they find that it breaks the terms of service, you're going to get smacked with that. It's just like when people try to avoid copyright by privating videos. It doesn't work. If someone has that video and they submit a copyright claim against you and it's found to have copyrighted material, you'll get that strike. It really doesn't matter whether you private or not. Same thing here, Phil. But again, you won't take any advice because I'm a detractor and you think whatever I say is stupid or not true. Or okay, fine, Phil. But never say someone didn't warn you, okay? All right, let's keep going because I could talk about this subject for days on end. Because, you know, again, one of these days, I know people always say, oh, he gets away with everything. He gets away with everything. Don't worry, folks. One of these days, he's not going to get away with something. He's gonna push it too far because people like Phil, what they do is you give them an inch, they take a foot. You give them a foot, they take a mile. And he's just gonna keep pushing it. Remember there was a time where he wouldn't even say the word regarded, but with the T, he would never say that. You know, he would say mentally stunted or whatever. Now he doesn't give a shit because he believes that saying the R word, even in a derogatory form, is perfectly fine. Again, Phil, intent. How you say things, how you direct things. If you just generally say something in just a general term, you know, describing something versus targeting someone, there's a big difference, brother. And Phil, I guess his autism doesn't allow him to differentiate context, but whatever. All right, let's keep going, folks.
We talked about what will happen this week dependent on support and how things go today with Super Mario Sunshine and Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and more, okay? Then we did an awesome stream of Super Mario Sunshine, about 2 hours of gameplay, give or take, a little bit more, I think, than that. And basically, we got right to the rage-inducing moment. Do you remember in my original playthrough, the most rage-inducing moment was the very beginning of the game. At the very beginning, in that first level, after you already beat the first boss, he comes back with the ability to fly around the stage, and you have to be able to shoot him out of the air, land, dodge a ton of attacks and minions that are all attacking you at the same time. Then when he opens his mouth, before he quickly vomits and takes off again to fly, fill his mouth with water, ground pound his stomach, then do it all again 2 more times. It's actually insanely tedious. It's one of the most hard things to do in the game because the controls are bad. The controls are wonky and very, very weird. The camera constantly gets stuck. You can't see half the enemies coming for you. You need to quickly switch between modes of water. For an early game boss fight, it's nonsensical. It shouldn't be in the game like that. I could understand if that was halfway through the game or at the end. It's the second boss of the game. It's the second, time you're fighting that first boss. It's insane that it's in the game. So we got up to that point. It took me a while, but I beat him, and that's where we ended. People loved the stream. The attendance actually was quite high. The support, really good. So good that we finished up the box of Dragon Ball cards, and we did some bonus packs of Pokemon cards. Guess what? In those final few packs of Dragon Ball, we got 2 more hits in addition.
Okay. He wasn't saying this on the stream, first of all. He said that the game sucked. He blamed the devs. Okay. And again, I have the game. I have the Nintendo. I played that level. It took me 10 minutes. It's not hard or difficult, Phil. Only someone decrepit and old as you can't beat it. It literally took him an hour to beat it, with the help of his viewers, of course. And of course, he screamed and shouted. I had no problems with the controller, the camera, nothing, Phil, okay? It wasn't like you were playing the game on a GameCube. You were actually playing it on your Switch too, okay? So while it's not the greatest, with controls or whatever, it worked perfectly fine. I beat the stage in 10 minutes, though, and I'm not the greatest gamer, okay? But anyway, I digress. This isn't about how great of a gamer I am or whatever. It's just more about how sucky of a gamer he is. Okay, the other thing was that, of course, he got the $300 anonymous fake tip. That's right. A $300 fake anonymous tip. Good Lord. And the thing is that what I would preface here is, this is what I want to talk about here, is because I've talked about this before in a couple of my other videos and my podcast. I talked about how you see a pattern emerging for the last couple months, where every stream that Phil, every stream after a Kino Casino stream, right? So Kino Casino streamed on Friday. Phil was off Saturday. He came back on Sunday. He seemed like, I don't know, Cat punched him or something. I'm not sure what happened. But he decided that he wanted to vent and cry and scream at his viewers, detractors, or whatever. And you always notice it's always after a Kino Casino stream. And he tries his best not to mention Kino Casino, but he's talking about Kino Casino. So, of course, he's watching them on Friday night. He's up, just seething, ticked off, pissed off. And he said, when I come back on Sunday snoring, I'm going to shell Kino Casino. And, of course, every single time, he gets some anonymous tip with some message that apparently fits his narrative. That's right. Yeah, I'm to believe that someone decided to give him $300 just to send him a message about him not fake tipping himself. Because if you don't remember, the preface behind the tip was Phil was going off about fake tipping himself. It's not true. And the other thing is, he went in the whole rant about OIC. I mean, not OIC. Yeah. Only Iced Coffee, where, he even actually hinted and said, well, you know what, you kind of might be right that I'm only supported by a couple dents, which is true. Everyone knows it, Phil. Everyone knows it's OIC or 220. It's like 2 or 3 whales that you have out there that come, depending on the day, they come out and prop you up. But a lot of these anything over like 150 or 100 is always a fake fucking tip. is always a fake tip. I don't care. I know there's people on the Detractorverse. You know, there's a bunch of people that don't think he fakes anything, and then there's a larger group of people that believe he fakes most things, and then you have a smaller section, which I fit into, who believes he fakes pretty much all his tips, all his big tips. I'm starting to believe that, folks, and he's just proving me right. Again, wait till Kino, if Kino Casino streams today, and they will, they're gonna go over these 3 crash outs. I guarantee you, Tuesday's podcast or stream, whatever, he will see and rant, and we'll get another huge anonymous tip out of nowhere, basically, coddling him and saying that he's the wonderful, he's the best, he's the greatest. And don't worry, Phil. Don't let those mean Kino Casino guys hurt your feelings. Your mom said you were attractive. It's true. Everyone else is just wrong. Everyone else, eyesight is dented, so they can't see the truth. It's just insane, brother. It's insane. But and then of course he gets upset, like always. Another thing too is, if it were real, if someone gave me $300 anonymously, you think I would be seething or going off on people because they didn't believe that I got a $300 tip? I'd be like, okay, no, not a problem, and just move on with my day and completely ignore it. Phil is the only person that rages at getting money. Anyway, look, seriously, if you haven't watched those 3 crash outs, it's just some epic shit. You definitely should watch those 3 crash outs. We're going to be reviewing it today on the podcast. We're going to watch all 3 videos. It's just some insane cope by DSP. And yeah, it's great. So come on by. You know what? I'm going to cut it short. He's going to talk about Pokemon tonight. He threatened the whole night to wage quit it. It's just, he almost rage quit the final boss, but finally one of his dents had pity on him and showed him how to win the match, and he finally won the match at almost at 1 o'clock at night. So there you go. There you have it. Anyway, let me cut the video short because I'm already at 17 minutes. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out.